I'm sorry, for data protection and data security. That's one extreme. And the other extreme is what the Chinese do. The Chinese have created their own universe for now nearly 20 years, where they have either denied the big tech companies of the West to flourish in their economy, or they have controlled them and created their own versions. Any big tech software or IT company that you can think of in the West, there is a Chinese version of it. Whether it is for e-commerce, whether it is for social media platform, whether it is for cab hailing, aggregated taxi rides. And so, when you have a country that delivers like China, in future we stand the risk that they can get those advantages without of what they can do, maybe in building certain infrastructure projects where they have got certain cost advantages. But in telecom, in software, in applications, TikTok was banned. You can read about how TikTok collects data from other countries and sends it back, not just to the company that owns it, but the agencies of the country where that company is based. Now, there is a real reason why we have to be careful about allowing players in our economy who illegally collect data. By illegally, I mean beating or going around the rules that we have ourselves created, and then misuse it for commercial and strategic and security purposes. So sometimes you'll hear people talking about we really shouldn't discriminate on this basis, but that's not true. If we are interested in our own future, if we are interested in our own sovereignty, if we are interested in our own security and safety, we do have to care about these things. Final word, you are right. There is no bill yet for data security and privacy and for particularly maintaining sovereignty issues. It is important that thinking Indians have a greater say in these issues, and only then will we be able to move faster in making public policy, in passing legislation, in setting up a regulatory agency that works fast to resolve these issues. Because without that, not only will we get left behind, but we will also be leaving ourselves open to very major risks. So congratulations once again for the success of the book. And I look forward to many other successes and to having a role, a say in shaping our regulations and policies on this very important topic. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the close of the inaugural session. And before we start the second session with entrepreneurs who are fulfilling for us the vision of data sovereignty as laid out by this book, I would like to thank, and I would like all of you to join me in thanking the esteemed guests on the stage before we welcome the second panel. So, of course, sir, the next session is your interaction with all the entrepreneurs. Before we start that, I would like to thank all the gentlemen on the panel. to kindly. I would like to introduce the next panel, the entrepreneurs who are fulfilling the vision of data sovereignty. First, I would like to welcome Shri Vinod Kumar, CEO of Subex. Shri Vinod Kumar, please join us on the stage, sir. Shri Gaurav Tripathi, IITian and founder Innoplexus and Super Pro AI. Shri Sai Krishna, ex-IRS, Joint Commissioner Income Tax. Ms. Lakshmi Madhusudan, please join us here, ma'am. Mr. Dikshit Hazarika. Mr. Trishneet Arora. This second session is Manthan of Indian Entrepreneurs with Shri Jay Pandaji on the subject of data sovereignty. I would like to start with Shri Vinod Kumar. Sir, would you please join us here and speak a few words about your views?
Good evening, everyone. Respected Chief Guest of the evening, and all other dignitaries. It's a great honor and privilege for me to present some thoughts around this very important subject today around data security, sovereignty, and also the whole aspect of how data is so important for us and making our country a much stronger one. While many speakers today very well articulated the need for data, its protection, and what it can do for empowering the society, I want to bring the focus on another aspect which also dealt today, but primarily around the security and the vulnerabilities that it has. While it is true that digitization, leveraging data can be supremely empowering to the society, unfortunately, it also introduces significant vulnerabilities. So far, I mean, if you look at a decade back, we heard a lot of issues where data threats or cyber attack happened on the IT infrastructure, resulted in the data losses. Of course, it is bad, and it has resulted in reputation damage for a lot of enterprises. But now, with OT and industrial IoT becoming a reality, what we are seeing now is no more threat to data. But if these OT infrastructures get attacked, it will create in real big danger, including loss of human lives, as we have seen in some of the cases. All of you are aware of the recent attacks on the colonial pipelines in US, which resulted in a complete havoc with respect to the fuel prices, where airplanes had to land to refuel because of the crisis. Last month, we had a very unfortunate instance when a Florida water plant was attacked and the chemical composition changed. They prevented the damage just in time. So on one end, with the whole push into the digital infrastructure, on the other end, it is also important for us to ensure that we have this strong control of the security, because it's very important. Now, the second aspect is about how do we go about creating a security? It's not about a product. It's an ecosystem that we have to build. And we have all that it takes for us to build this ecosystem in the country. What we need is a bit of guidance, a kind of governance, right policies, and a lot of will, as the speakers mentioned, to make India the winner in every front. Now, I just want to leave with 3 points because I just have 3 minutes to conclude my speech. I just want to impress on everyone that this whole issue of digital security is real. And so far, if it has not affected each one of us personally, it will affect if we don't take the right steps. That's the first point. Second, we can solve it as an ecosystem. Like the digitization benefits us created as an ecosystem, the security also need to be created as an ecosystem. So we have to work together with the governmental entrepreneurs and all other educational institutions, research institutions. All of us will have to come together to create the ecosystem. The third is the need for us to indigenously develop the IP and all other aspects, the talent that is required to fight this war. As about Subex, the company that I represent, we are about a 25-year-old company. We provide security solutions, risk and security solutions to over 100 countries around the world. And we are very, very proud of the fact that we are able to be in India and compete with the latest and the greatest technologies on a global landscape. And we are very willing and we are very confident that we will play our part in creating India and its digital economy and a safe and sound one. Thank you very much.
Gaurav Tripathi, may I now request you to please
Thank you, Gaurav. It's really a pleasure and honor to be here at this podium, and I really can't express my feelings to be here with the company of such esteemed people. People who have spent a large part of their lives already building this nation, and people who I think for every minute of their life, they just think about this only. How can our India become the Vishwaguru? So that I'll just take 2 minutes to first take us back in some time. So if we go back, right, what happened? 400 years back, 400 years back from now, India was prosperous. India was the largest market of the world, largest economy in the world, and that was the reason why. So our share of world GDP was 30%, more than 30%, and we had foreign companies coming from all over the world, especially Europe. We know of only one East India company today, but in fact, there were many East India companies that were there in India and many other foreign companies. They came, of course, it wasn't their government or their kings or the armies who came. They were merchants. They were merchants who came here to do business. We welcomed them to be part of our nation. We welcomed them to be part of our economy. But somewhere down the line, in just next 100, 150 years, we ended up becoming a British colony. We ended up becoming slaves. So what happened? What happened was, over a period of time, we just ended up giving them concessions, one concession after another, overlooking the long-term impact on our local businesses and economy that those concessions will bring to. We just traded in a short-term profit or short-term convenience for this long-term impact, which ended up us becoming slaves. If we come to the present term, yes, India is already the world's second largest online market and very much on its way to become the number 1 or number 2 economy in the world in the next 30 years. And here again, we have an opportunity, or I'll rather say this is our chance, wherein we don't end up repeating the same history. Yeah. Yes, everybody is welcome. Yes, we are a large market. We welcome everybody to do business here. But this time, let's remember, it needs to happen on our own terms. We should remember that whatever we are doing, yeah, the back of the mind, we should look at the long-term impact of it. We should not let anybody come here and dictate our terms, or worse, interfere in our policies or even politics, which we have seen happening of late. We need to make sure whatever we do, whether it is a policy level or even at a public opinion level, right? Even as citizens, we have that responsibility. We don't end up having a system wherein the local players are disadvantaged, yeah, or where we are giving everything that we have got, all our data, in a silver platter to foreign companies. Because now data is not just about today. As we have seen, and my speakers before have already mentioned about data being the oil and everything. What we see is, if India has to be the leader of technology in future, we need to have complete control over our own data. Forget about controlling anybody else's data. We are not asking for that. We are just asking for us to have control over our own data, because this is the data which will serve as foundation for the next generation of applications will be built using artificial intelligence. So hence it's very important that we have complete control, and we as citizens are also cognizant of the fact that we don't end up trading in again for our short-term convenience. We don't end up again creating a long-term disastrous impact. And so we need strong local players in all areas, whether it is communication or data or AI. And I'll close by quoting from the book. And as Vineet ji said, whoever controls data controls everything. We want Indian data to be under control of Indian government or Indian organizations. And we need to act now to ensure that India doesn't end up becoming a digital colony. Else, we'll have to depend on foreign players later on for accessing our own data. With that, I'll close. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to take a moment to tell you more about Gaurav. His phenomenal team has built the Via map, which is being used right now to live stream this event to at least an audience of 50,000 people across the country right now. It's a great alternative to Zoom or any of the other foreign apps. So we're already on our way towards data sovereignty, thanks to entrepreneurs like Gaurav.
Yeah. So can I request General Kocher to thank, because Mr. Panda has to left 1 minute of your thanking and we'll wind it up. Major General Kocher, please.